Hello friend, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Becky if you're new, and today we are tackling something that I have wanted to tackle for a little while now, but I haven't had the time. I'm dedicating today to do this, and so I'm kind of excited about it because I know I'm giving myself the time to tackle this organizational nightmare project. I've got a few drawers and cupboards I want to get to today. We've already kind of started this project. We're biting off organizing this kitchen in sections, so this has become a disaster. So I want to get this drawer organized, these two drawers organized, because they are kind of a disaster. And this one, I'm even scared to show you. I've done no organizing in preparation for today, and we need to tackle this, and here. I have never cleaned this since I've been here, and it's gross. So we need to go ahead and clean that out today, and here. So this is going to be a fun project. In full transparency, I just stopped and ate because I hadn't eaten yet today. It's 11:22, and if I was to start this project on an empty stomach, I think I would burn out pretty quickly. So I already feel better. So number one tip, make sure you are, if you drink caffeine or coffee, caffeinated and well fed. So I think I'm gonna start with this cupboard first because it's the one that I'm dreading the most. And I think what I'm gonna do is my kind of standard thing is to empty the entire cupboard. And I think I'm gonna do because there's 3 food ones I'm doing, and then there's 4 that are more like utensil type things. So I think I'm gonna start with the food ones, then we'll move to the utensils next. One of my goals is to actually streamline, things are already falling out, my spices and reduce the amount of spices I keep in my house overall. Oh, lovely. See? I just spilled oregano all over because for some reason I didn't have a lid on that. And I want to become more of a minimalist when it comes to spices and things that I keep on hand, because I think it'll be less overwhelming and I'm not gonna have to do these big clean outs as often. As of now, this is my 3rd annual kitchen clean out and organizing, and I'm so grateful that I have the time to do it. But I think to make life a little bit easier, the goal would be to have less so that there's less to manage. So I'm just going to empty this entire cupboard. And some of these things are duplicates, so I can condense. Some of them are bulk items that actually shouldn't even be up here. They should be downstairs. This has always been, this Lazy Susan, kind of a pain point for me. Oh, see? I didn't think I had any minced onion, and I do. Seasoned salt, which I should probably use up. The reason I haven't been using it is because it's been in the back of this area. More bulk items. Freeze-dried something. Oh, freeze-dried onion. That smells incredible. So, should get that out. What is this one? Oh, freeze-dried garlic. I thought I was completely out of my own homemade garlic. There is a whole quart of freeze-dried garlic right there. What is this? Garam masala, probably. Garam masala. I didn't think I had any of that because I hate getting into this cupboard because it's overwhelming to me. Another spice without a lid. I think that's cayenne pepper. This is just that top row. That's kombucha in there, so I need to get that. And then now we've got this bottom one here that needs to be taken care of. This was the herbs that spilled, so I'm gonna vacuum all that up. Oh my goodness. I have even more homegrown freeze-dried garlic. So I have 2, one's powdered, so there's obviously a lot more in here than in here because these are whole. But this is why I'm doing this, because I just bought a bunch of, well, it's fresh garlic that I blended up, so it's definitely a different application. And I haven't been using my homegrown garlic because I thought I was out of it, which I would rather use that. So this is why every so often it's time to go through your spices. And then here, I've been keeping this for a long time and I need to decide if I'm gonna keep it or if I'm gonna get rid of it. These are, well, one, they're a bunch of spice blends, which I rarely ever use spice blends. Oh, see, Za'atar is something I've always wanted to use. I think this might have been a gift, but if it's in a bag in this cupboard, it's never gonna get used. So what I should do, so before we started this pantry challenge, this is day 2 of the pantry challenge, I went through my freezers and my cupboards and I picked out things I wanted to use. Well, I've never used Za'atar before. So I think what I'm gonna do when I'm in here is if there's spices and things I find, I'm gonna try to use those up as well. So we have taco seasoning, which I can empty into a taco seasoning container, but I have these Fido jars. This is what I used to put my spices in, and I've thought about actually transitioning to using my Fido jars up on my shelf instead of using the mason jars, because I do think they're really pretty. And they were kind of an investment when I purchased them. I got them like 6 years ago maybe, when Josh and I were in our first house, but they all need to be washed. And so I haven't donated them yet because there's a garam masala. They are labeled because they were such an investment. I haven't wanted to donate them in case I want to use them, which I'm thinking I might want to use them. What would you do? Would you donate them? See, I've got a bunch of different spice blends in here. I should focus. I'm just gonna keep emptying this cupboard or it's gonna take forever if I try to. This is freeze-dried broth, which I know that I could definitely use up during this pantry challenge. I just made a bunch of broth and I've been going through it like crazy, making way more soups and things than I normally do. Okay. I got the Lazy Susan emptied, and because I have pantry items and spices in these 2 drawers as well, I think I'm just gonna empty these so that if there happens to be, because I'm pretty sure there's duplicates of like ginger in this area and ginger over here, I want to try to condense everything. Oh my goodness, this is probably a good time to do this after the holiday season because we did go through a lot of these things. And maybe if I had done this before, it wouldn't have stayed clean. See, like I have 2 corn syrups that are almost empty, ginger that's open. And my mom, we were cooking, I think it was for Thanksgiving, and we needed golden syrup. And we didn't know what this was, so my mom put golden syrup in my stocking. And so I'm gonna cook with that at some point, so that's gonna be kind of fun. Bunch of mason jar lids and rings that don't have anything on the bottom of them. This is the reality. There are a ton of nutmegs down here. So we got 1 cupboard emptied. I've got my nutmegs here, get those in there. Now I need to get this one emptied. And I have 3 separate bags of bread flour. I'm gonna use some of that today to prepare. I have cake flour, which I didn't think I had. This I know I can donate because I just ordered a new one of those. That was a kitchen scale. I have a random bag of whole wheat flour. I don't know what this is for or from. I should probably throw this in my freezer because it's whole wheat. I should use this during the pantry challenge. I already organized this freezer with you all, and I have a section in my freezer of things that need to be used during pantry challenge. So I just threw that whole wheat flour there. These can be donated. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start a donate pile of things that I can go ahead and donate. Didn't know I had parchment paper in here. A random bag of rice. Why is this in here? I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and just stick this in here. Rice does not need to be stored in the freezer, but I wanna go ahead and use that random bag of jasmine rice. 3 empty drawers now. Feels good. One thing I have found that works really well when vacuum out cupboards and freezers and things is a good old shop vac. When I know I'm going to be doing a big project like this, I like to listen to people that are experts at minimalism and organization because it's just good encouragement. And I was listening to a video by the Minimal Mom called It's Toxic and Must Go, and things in our kitchen that overwhelm us and things we don't need. And she gave a big list, and now some of the things on the list are things that I use, and so I did not get rid of them, but some things weren't on her list that, as going through this and thinking about the principles in that video, are things that I can apply and get rid of. And so I just like to do that because it just helps encourage me and reminds me that this will help me feel more organized overall. We officially have everything vacuumed out. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and grab some cleaner and some spray or some cleaner, and I'm actually going to wipe down the cupboards and drawers. And I've been thinking, there's some of these spices that I have actually and herbs that I have actually fresh in the garden. So I've been, as I'm cleaning, trying to think through what my plan for all these goodies is so that I can get a lot of this actually out of my cupboard in general. So let me, you know what? I need to focus. Focus. Let's clean, and then we can start thinking about the actual spices themselves, one thing at a time. I just grabbed out of the wash just some cotton paper towels. They're not paper towels, they're just like my cotton version. And I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning these. I'm just gonna spray a little bit in each one, let it sit. This is just a vinegar spray, just because I'm cleaning where, you know, we keep our food, so it's just diluted distilled vinegar. I can easily get overwhelmed when I do projects like this, and what I have found that works the best, if I can just remind myself to do these steps, then it's less overwhelming, is when I'm tackling, whether that's a whole entire room, a closet, a drawer, a cupboard, is to empty the space first, clean that area, and then I have a clean slate. So then when I start having to make the decisions on what I want to keep, what I want to get rid of, and things like that, I can just make those decisions as I'm putting things back into that space that is clean. So you could see I was getting a little bit out of order. I wanted to start making decisions on what I was going to keep and what I was going to get rid of and condense, and I thought, nope, let's stop and get these areas clean. And so that's what we're doing with the just vinegar spray. And then we can start condensing, you know, if I've got 2 of something or 3 of something, condensing it into 1 and start putting things back in. I ran downstairs and I grabbed my basket where I have my extra spices downstairs because I want all my spices in one area. So 1 of everything up here, any extra is gonna go downstairs. And I was kind of flipping through that basket and I could already see a few things that are duplicates from up here to down there, and I don't want that. I want to streamline this kitchen and my inventory. I also grabbed out 2 bags because some of these items, kitchen items that I have, I'm going to actually gift to my mom. So this is going to be gift to my mom bag of kitchen equipment where I have duplicates, and I know she doesn't have one. She doesn't have a kitchen scale, and I just purchased one that I really like. So I'm going to give her my old one. And then I've got a bag here, and this is going to be for the donation center because, and then I think I'm gonna grab 1 more bag, and I'm gonna have an area where I'm gonna put stuff in, put it in the garage. If I don't use it for, say, the next 6 months, then I'm gonna donate it. Because some things I'm not totally sure if I wanna get rid of it. So this way I can have we might need it later, and if we need it later, I can pull it out. But I know that I've got some things that can be donated, and I know I've got some things that can be gifted. So I also want to condense some things. I have some things where, like this is my beef gelatin, or my gelatin for making marshmallows and the panna cotta. I want to try making gummies. So I can condense this into a smaller jar. This is buttermilk powder. I can condense this into a smaller jar, just so that my things are gonna be taking up less space. I'm gonna also start condensing some of my items. Why do I have 3 things of corn syrup? I don't need 3 bottles of corn syrup. I can condense that into 1. So that's what I'm gonna start doing now. This area was starting to feel a little overwhelming on the counter, so what I decided to do is start putting things into the drawer. I still have more decision making I need to do, condensing and things I'm going to get rid of. So the things that I know I'm going to keep and I've already condensed, I'm going to start putting those into the cupboards just so that there's less stuff on the counters to look at. One thing I just did is I actually went through my pantry up here, and I decided, since I have room after organizing, I can put some of the things that were in that pantry in here. I'm more likely to use them if they're in here, and I'm really trying to clean stuff out of that pantry. So I just put poppy seeds and sesame seeds in here. I'm gonna put my turbinado sugar in here, which is a baking item, so it'll be nice if I can get all my baking stuff in one area. Also, same with tapioca starch. This is what I use instead of cornstarch. I used to keep it in my pantry and I would have to go back and forth all the time, and it's gonna be nice if I can just keep it right in this drawer. I've got all my other gelatin and all this stuff is gonna go in here, and then I did go ahead and label each of the tops with what they are. I was using reusable lids and some of these things for the cardamom said like ketchup 2022 and salsa verde and all that stuff. And I thought because I'm looking down on this drawer, that was a little bit silly. So I went ahead and each one now says what it is. Buttermilk powder, ginger, nutmeg. So instead of having to pick it up, I know what they are when I look at them, but instead of having to pick them up to save time, I can just look down on them and I can see what they are. I also am putting my milk powder in here because I like to use that sometimes when I make bread if I don't have any fresh milk. And this drawer is now done. So I'm gonna close that. And this drawer is done. So I can show you what I have in here. I'm gonna order 2 of those containers for my bread flour and for my einkorn flour. This is some masa flour that we're gonna be using to make tamales this month and corn tortillas. I've got my muffin tin liners, my syrup, this is the golden syrup, cake flour, and then this is what this drawer looks like. So I have my corn syrup back there. So perfect. Close this. I'm so much happier with how those look. It might not look like it, but we've actually cleared this counter off quite a bit. So now what I want to start doing is filling this basket. I know I could also just throw away a bunch of garbage too, and that would clear this area as well. So here's my tapioca starch. I'm gonna go ahead and put this downstairs because I'll just use it to refill my container. And I'm just gonna stick this in here. Not all this stuff is gonna be in this, but I'm gonna use this to carry downstairs. I've been loading the dishwasher with the jars that are dirty that I've been emptying, and now I'm gonna go through here, and I did decide I'm gonna use my Fido jars for my spices. So these are all washed now and dried. So I can actually start filling these with things with spices as well. I do think I'm gonna rehome this smells so good. I have not been using this, but I do really, really like it. My seasoned salt, because it's been stuffed in the back. And I know that if I have it in this little jar, I'm gonna put it in my cupboard up here. I know that I will actually use this. So I'm very excited about this. This has all the good things in it. I can actually link that recipe down below. So now we'll use that. Here's some bulk spices I can just put in here. Because I want to fill all these jars with my spices, I'm going to go ahead and throw away all the garbage. I'm going to wipe the counter down and kind of set up a little bit of an assembly line here. I can get these in the dishwasher, this in the garbage and the recycle. I want to get a nice clean area that we can fill our Fido jars in. So I'm going to take a second and kind of reset an area in the kitchen that we can do that. I did get these jars washed because they've been sitting in this cupboard since we moved and they needed a good clean. And I let them dry and I wiped them once, but spices and water do not mix. So I'm going to take a second and just make sure these are bone dry before we start filling them with our spices. So here are jars that we're going to start to fill. So one thing that pantry challenges and winter organizational projects do is they are a time of reflection, reevaluation, and contemplation. So I've kind of been thinking about this for some time, and I'm really wanting to go full bore with this concept, is that I want to streamline my bulk food storage and my pantry. And I really only want to store in bulk in my house the things that we go through super quickly and really regularly, and I don't have to worry about going through them before, they lose flavor, they lose texture, or they expire. And so the things I want to keep on hand are my staples like butter, oil, sugar, flour, oats, rice, beans, tomato sauce from the garden fresh produce and things like that. And I only want to keep 1 year's worth. Now, when it comes to bulk spices, this is something I'm not going to keep on hand anymore in bulk. I do go through a lot of spices. You see my cooking, and I just use spoonfuls of them, but I think I want to keep just about one of these jarfuls of spices, and then as I need them, I can, pick them up from the store or order them. It's not something that moving forward I necessarily want to keep in bulk because I want to make sure I'm cooking with fresh spices. I'm really liking how this is turning out, but I've now used all my Fido jars. And this is all my spices, but I don't have any more for my herbs. And I did just go ahead and dump out and compost a bunch of them because I had some dehydrated dill, I had some dehydrated oregano and dehydrated parsley, and this is all from 2022. And last year, 2023, I freeze dried a bunch. And look at the difference. So this is enough dill to get me through a year. So I'm gonna go ahead and just compost this dill that's dehydrated, and I'm gonna keep this freeze-dried dill. Same with the parsley. So look at how deep green that is versus that. I also have in my garden a ton of fresh parsley. I haven't even had to use I think I've used some dehydrated just when I don't wanna run out to the garden and get fresh, but I just have so much fresh and the freeze-dried that's better quality. I don't need to store all this dehydrated stuff that I got from the garden from 2022 because there's no way I'm gonna go through all of this. So as much as I kind of feel bad about getting rid of it, it didn't cost me anything but my time, and it's better to let it go than to have the weight of it in my spice cabinet. Same with, this is parsley. I already showed you that. Oh, this was oregano. So look at the difference between the color of the freeze-dried oregano versus the dehydrated oregano. This has so much more flavor. Now, I still have quite a few decisions I have to make when it comes to all these random little things. And so I still need to think through this. But the big question is, do I run into town and pick up more of these because I know where I can buy these so that I can finish this project today, or do I order it online? What do I want to do? I still have this whole mess I need to take care of, but we're moving in the right direction. I just got back from my favorite grocery store because they are the only ones that carry these jars, and I wanted to make sure I got the correct size. I did. I did not buy any groceries, so that was a huge accomplishment. So I need to go ahead. I bought 8 of them. I need to go through, wash them out, put the ring on, and then we can actually start filling these up. So I'm gonna take each one of these out of here. I'm really glad I did not donate them. I hadn't used these in, 2 years or something like that, and I almost donated them, and I'm glad I didn't because they are quite an investment. And so I'm excited to start using them again. But this is gonna take me a few minutes to get these washed up and the rings on and then dried out really well so we can actually fill them. Whatever spices and herbs don't fit in these jars, then I will bring them downstairs and I will restock my kitchen spices and herbs with the ones that I have downstairs until they're gone. The only things that I composted are the herbs that I grew myself and I dehydrated, and I knew that because I am going to be growing herbs again this next year, that as long as everything goes fine, I will be able to replenish that. So the herbs that I'm composting are the ones that I grew myself, I have in my garden, and I will continue to grow those herbs. The ones that I purchased are ones that I will keep and I will replenish the back stock. It's just when I go to buy herbs and spices moving forward, I'm just going to buy smaller quantities so that I don't have
a big back stock of herbs and spices, and that way I can just keep them a little bit fresher, and it's one less thing in my food storage room that I need to use mental bandwidth to manage that. So just trying to kind of streamline and simplify my food storage.
So here we have all of the spices, and down here we have the herbs. So let me go through what we have here. We have rosemary, bay, dill, basil salt. That's the only basil I have in my house right now. Parsley, oregano, sage, ginger, garlic powder, garam masala, turmeric, coriander, cumin, chipotle powder, paprika, cayenne pepper, red pepper flakes, Korean red pepper flakes, and taco seasoning. The taco seasoning might go in the Lazy Susan. I haven't decided. And I guess I still, as I'm doing this, realize I am missing onion powder. So I need to get that in a minute. But I think what I'm going to do next is deal with all of this mess and a bunch of this mess. I want to start bringing stuff downstairs. So what I need to do is start compiling the extra spices I have. So this is my spice basket. And I want to get to the point where I'm not storing extra spices. I just want to fill my jars up, and then when I run low, I will buy one of these 4-ish ounce packages from Penzeys or Azure or wherever. And then I am not storing a bunch of spices because one, I don't want to manage it, and two, spices don't have a huge shelf life. And so I just want a little less to manage, but I don't want these to go to waste. So these were all the extra in the jars, and I got these put into some baggies so that I can just stick these in here and I'll use these to refill. And then I need another thing to carry down because I have extra. This is the garlic powder. I have 3 jars of garlic powder now that I found between all the different things, which is awesome. I'm gonna put this in here. This is my extra cornstarch, or not cornstarch, tapioca starch, which I want to start storing downstairs. And then I've got tons of lids and jars everywhere. My dishwasher, I turned it on and it only has 4 minutes left. So I'm just going to start putting all of these jars that we're no longer using for spices in the sink so I can start condensing things and getting these washed and start making a little bit more space on my counter. And then we'll start putting stuff into the Lazy Susan. And then I found a jar of, this was sugar that I had steeping in a bunch of vanilla pods. I just sifted out the vanilla pods and I put my vanilla sugar in my sugar tote here. And I've not been using this because it's been sitting in my pantry, not being used. So I put it in here. And I'm gonna order one more of these big totes so that I can have my vanilla sugar, and then I can have just regular sugar. And if I have it in here, I know I will use it. And then when I was talking to a friend about this, she gave me a great idea. I don't wanna waste these vanilla pods. If you're wondering what's happening here, I have some yogurt going. But I'm gonna turn those vanilla pods into vanilla powder. I might not like it. It might not be something I'm gonna use, but I might as well try it. These were vanilla beans that I used to make vanilla extract, and then I make that vanilla sugar. And now we're gonna try just vanilla powder. See if we can get 3 uses out of these vanilla pods.
After making the vanilla extract, I took the wet vanilla beans, I dehydrated them in my dehydrator, and then I took the dehydrated vanilla beans and put them in sugar for about 4 or 5 months. And then I just sifted them out, and now I'm going to turn this into vanilla powder. If I love it, awesome. If I don't, I will just go ahead and compost it. But I've already gotten 2 uses out of this, and so we will see if we can get a 3rd use. So I won't feel bad tossing it if we don't end up liking it.
Vanilla powder. I'm gonna start putting stuff back into the Lazy Susan because currently there is nothing in here. I like to keep a really big bag of salt here so that I can refill my salt container that I keep next to my stove. That's definitely something I wanna keep up here because I know I will use that. I've got my bone broth powder, which I'm gonna put that at the front so that I start using that. think I'm gonna put I have so many mustard seeds. I bought this to make homemade mustard. I have yet to do it. And I'm gonna put this up here so that it reminds me to use it. Things that I don't use very often, I have homemade ranch powder seasoning. I'm gonna put that down here. Coconut oil. I'm gonna put that in here. I'm gonna try to really keep it minimal down here, what I'm gonna keep. Just the things that I do use, but not super regularly, so I don't want the extra downstairs. I'm gonna put my cinnamon sticks here. Onion powder, because I don't have an onion powder up here yet. Onion soup mix, I'm gonna put down here. That's the only onion soup mix I have in my house. This za'atar seasoning, because I want to try that soon. I've got extra salt. This is a different kind of salt, so I think I'm gonna put that down here. Garlic is gonna go downstairs. Onion flakes are gonna go here, not downstairs. The only thing I'm bringing downstairs are the extras that I have of things. Curry powder I'm gonna put down here, and the garlic I'm gonna put. All the rest of this needs to be washed. This is poultry seasoning. I'm actually gonna put that here. The rest of this needs to be thrown away. Oh, curry powder. Needs to be thrown away or washed. So this cupboard is officially done.
I'm excited to see how this system works for me. The beautiful thing about being managers of our own home is we can change things up. And this is something, by simplifying, I think is going to make my life a little less stressful. I've already loved the huge, organizational project and simplification we did with moving all the food storage from my upstairs pantry downstairs. And so I'm kind of taking that concept and running with it. But if this doesn't end up working for us, we can always change it up.
So here is what this is looking like now. And here's what this looks like. So much more organized. Oh, I guess I could go ahead. I'm gonna add to the back here. I almost forgot. My kombucha. My kombucha likes to hang out in here. I really like this drawer now, or cupboard, I guess. Lazy Susan. This in here. I only have to get to my kombucha every 2 weeks or so, and so that's a great place to store it. And then now, since we've got this area done, oh, it looks like my dishwasher's done. I'm gonna let this cool. I did a quick cycle, so it's gonna take a minute for it to cool. We can get this unloaded, load all these dishes. But before I do anything, I want to start clearing this counter, and then we can get to the drawers. I'm gonna go ahead and bring all these spices and herbs downstairs, and I'll just tidy these down there. I went ahead, I actually put my vanilla powder in a little 4-ounce mason jar. Downstairs. Now when I want to refill my jars up here, I can go downstairs and I'll line these up really nicely, and it'll be a lot easier to access, and then we will dwindle it down, and then I won't actually have a back stock downstairs. I think that is my plan moving forward. But it might change. The prerogative to change your mind. Need to put a lid on this, and we can get the rest of this counter cleared.
The idea of streamlining my food storage started really when I was organizing my pantry downstairs, and I removed all of my extra canned goods and jars from my upstairs pantry and brought them downstairs, so I had them in one spot, and I only had one area that I could quickly look and see, hey, I'm running low on X, Y, and Z. I know I need to buy it because it's in that one spot, and then I can go ahead and order it, and or can it or grow it or whatever it might be. And I want to get to that place with my spices. And so that is why streamlining is huge. I had my spices in 3 areas: on my counter, in that messy Lazy Susan, and downstairs in my food storage room. And I can already tell you this has been a huge weight lifted off streamlining this.
Island is clean. So now I'm gonna change my focus to this drawer here. Can I take it out? No? Okay. So we're gonna work on this drawer and this one, because I think this one and the other one have a lot of things that could be similar. So I'm just gonna start going through it. I've already decided I'm only gonna keep one of these. I love this, but I don't need 3. So I'm gonna keep this big one. These small ones, I'm gonna go ahead and donate. Potato masher, I do use, and I got a new one of these, so I'm gonna donate that. This is a tomato slicer. I don't use it. I didn't use it this last year, so I'm gonna go ahead and donate that. I'm just gonna go through, sort things. I have some of these. This came with something. I don't know what it came with. I'm gonna donate that. I need to order some dividers, so I'll probably do that today, but at least I can go through here and decide what I wanna keep. That goes in a different drawer. I'm just gonna get everything out so I can clean this. I'm excited about this. I got this as a gift, and it's a tomato corer. I haven't used it yet, and I'm excited to use that this coming summer. So I'm gonna take this out, vacuum it, wipe it out, clean it. These drawers are gonna go a lot faster than the last ones because there's gonna be a lot less thinking. It's gonna be a lot easier to know if I'm gonna keep it, donate it. I don't have to refill jars or anything. So that's why I wanted to tackle that one first, get it out of the way. Sometimes I'm more like get the easy things done first so that I can get things under my belt. But this time I wanted to get the hardest thing done first. Okay, so now I'm gonna start putting stuff back in this drawer. I really do need to get some sort of, does that shut? That doesn't shut if I put it there. Divider type thing. I don't have that today, so at least I can figure out what I need to donate and what I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna put this in my other drawer here. My funnels go over here, and they were in the other drawer, so I'm gonna bring it over here. This is kind of the drawer that I don't use everything a ton of, except for the knives and this potato peeler. But I don't use my can opener, traditional can opener very often. I guess I use this sometimes. So I'll put those there. So this drawer is done. Looks a lot better. This didn't even take me 5 minutes, and it looks a whole lot better. So this is what this drawer is. It's the things that I don't use a ton of. I'm gonna go ahead and close that. A bunch of this is for donate. Oh, this doesn't go to donate. This goes in the other drawer. All this is for donate. Oh, see, this goes in the other drawer. I actually like to put my scissors in that drawer. This is more my baking drawer. So I'm gonna get these out because I know these don't go in here. I think for this, I'm just gonna take everything out and start over. This is kind of gross. I'm gonna go ahead and just clean this crack right here. I think I'm gonna bring the shop vac back in and suction up those loose bits. Much better. That was kind of gross. This is where I have to make some hard decisions. I have to decide if I want to keep all my like 6 sets of measuring spoons. I think I have 5. Some of these I've gotten at Goodwill over the years. Some of them were gifts. These here, these just had flour. So I don't think I can do it. I think I'm gonna keep quite a few of my measuring cups just because I do use them. I am gonna donate these ones because they are kind of flimsy and not as high quality. So 3 sets is gonna be more than enough. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting these back into my drawer. Make sure I can close this, yes. I like to put my rolling pins back behind here. That helps, yes, keep things from sliding. Well, my drawer just came unscrewed, so Josh is gonna have to fix that tonight, but this is what it's looking like. I've got my rolling pins back there. I can't open it all the way because my drawer just broke, but I've got some mini, what are these called? Spatulas. I've got about 3 more of those. I use these all the time. I love them. My measuring spoons, measuring cups, cookie cups, offset spatula. So this is looking a lot more organized. I can only close it to there. So the last couple things we need to get done are these 3 drawers, and they're not organizing. I'm keeping everything in the drawer. I just need to clean them out, which is awesome. That makes it a lot easier.
I think grease or something spilled in the bottom of this drawer. I'm not exactly sure. So I'm going to get in here first with some paper towels, spray it all down, and try to remove as much of the grime as I can first. And then I do end up going in actually with some dish soap, and I use a scrubber. So dish soap, and I get some water on my scrubber, and I scrub this whole thing down really well. And then we are able to get this technically food warmer drawer clean, but I've never used it as a food warmer, and I'm just glad to get this clean in general. And then once it's totally clean, we can move on to the next cupboards.
Friend, that looks so much better. This is like tape or something. It's like glue. I don't know if I can get that off. I got it clean though. The whole thing is nice and clean. I'm not gonna put anything in it now because I need to clean those muffin tins, but that feels good to get that done. Whew. Josh just got home and he's fixing my drawer. The whole thing broke, but I think he'll be able to fix it. It was just a teeny tiny little screw holding the whole thing in there. So now I want to clean the base of these 2 cupboard doors, except I don't need to decide if I'm keeping anything or not. So it's just going to be a matter of taking everything out, cleaning it, and then putting the things back in. This had some divider in there at some point, but it was broken when we bought the house. So I'm just gonna take out that little bit of plastic that was in there. See if I can get all the way in there. I don't think I can reach. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so Josh is gonna put the shop vac away for me. He got my drawer fixed, so now I can open and close it, so we're back in business. I got these 2 cupboards cleaned. That one doesn't go in there. And then I've already prepped dinner. So I just started preheating the oven, and we got so much stuff done. I am so grateful for the amount of work that was put into getting this kitchen organized and clean. Do you want to see the cupboards, Josh? Yeah. Look at this one. Can you see it from there?
That's great, huh?
Thanks.
I always forget that that one's over there.
Yeah, well, you probably didn't even know what it looked like before.
Oh, I saw it.
Oh, you saw it?
was-
Oh, do you need this screw?
Oh, no, you can toss it.
Okay. Did you get a new one?
Oh, yeah, big one.
This was the screw that was holding that whole drawer together. Look how little it is. So did you put a bigger one in there?
Yeah.
Perfect.
It burst out.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Now this is what I still have to do. These are all the dishes we created, and I need to unload the dishwasher. It's done, and load it. But what I'm gonna do before I do that is actually get dinner in the oven. Oh, I need to sweep and mop too. Don't look at the floors. But I'm gonna get dinner in the oven. While the dinner is cooking, I'll unload and load the dishwasher. And I've already prepped a bunch of the food. We're going to have potato nachos for dinner tonight. So I'm gonna get that in the oven, get these clean. But it was so incredibly productive. We got so many drawers cleaned out, organized. I'm really working towards minimalism as much as possible, but keeping on hand the things I want to keep on hand. But I can tell that I enjoy being in the kitchen more when I have less. I'm enjoying less trying to manage less inventory, less mental bandwidth that I have to deal with, and just having clean, fresh start going into winter feels good. Feels good we finally got this done. It's been weighing on my list of things to do. We got the Lazy Susan done, the spice cabinets done, just cleaned some stuff. So the whole kitchen just feels cleaner. It feels more organized, minus the floors. I will get to the floors while dinner is cooking. So friend, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you. I greatly appreciate every single one of you who takes time out of your day to spend time with me. I can pop a couple of my other videos here. You can go enjoy between now and my next upload. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.